What's up guys, Peter here from Reviews on Anything, and in this video we're having a look at some snowboard goggles. More specifically, these are the Oakley Flightdeck snowboard goggles, and we'll get into the specific lens name later. This is how you get it in the box, and that's quite disappointing to be honest, because these are not cheap goggles. They're 209 euros here in Germany, and all you get is this sort of, not very exciting box. So that's, it's not really much of presentation compared to the price. But obviously it is what is inside that counts. So let's open this up and get these goggles out. Now you get the goggles in a little pouch and some paperwork, which you might be able to see on the bottom, which is not really exciting. So let's put this to the side and let's have a look at the lenses. Be ready. There we go. These are the Torch Iridium colored lenses. They come obviously in a whole variety of lens colors depending on the conditions you want to use them in. And obviously the band colors and the frame colors also vary according to your own taste and personal power animal. So you can really pick and choose whatever you want. Now I went for these lenses because they are for sort of overcast, mixed conditions. Which is, in my experience, the conditions you face the most. But obviously you can pick lenses with for very cloudy conditions and lenses for very bright conditions as well. And the lenses are interchangeable. So, if you can afford it, you can get a bunch of lenses and carry them around with you and change according to the conditions on the mountain. Now, first thing you'll see, obviously, is that these are frameless goggles, meaning that the frame is all behind the lens and there's no sort of outside rim, which makes them look enormous, which they sort of are. If you compare them to another pair of ski goggles from Uvex, for example, you can tell that they are quite a lot larger. Now they come in a smaller format as well, so if you have a not so big head or not so big face and this is a bit much, you can get a smaller version to fit you a bit better. But yeah, be aware that they are quite large, especially when you're riding with a helmet and you're switching. Make sure that they also fit your helmet. They do fit most helmets, they say, which I'm sure is true, but better be safe than sorry, and check it out before you actually finalize the sale and don't end up on the mountain with a pair of goggles and helmets that don't go together. Now, there's not much to see on the front. You just have the lenses, a bit of Oakley branding here. On the back you have the Oakley strap, super wide, so that's very comfortable, and there's rubber sort of grip lines here in the back, so it won't slide off your helmet, although most helmets have a sort of a clip on the back anyway. But even if you're just wearing a hat, it won't slip off there either. Obviously the strap is adjustable with these two sliders here, so you'll be sure to fit any kind of hat and helmet combination. Then here on the inside we have sort of a fleece layer that is against your face, which is very comfortable. It gets rid of, or absorbs rather, a bit of sweat that you'll inevitably will have. So that's very nice. And as you can maybe see here, it's triple layers. So you have the fleece here and then two types of foam to make sure it's for maximum comfort. And that's, it's nice and cushiony. Here on the top, there's also some sort of foam. But that's really to get all the warm air out, to make sure your goggles don't steam up, which is actually not going to happen anyway because it has something that Oakley calls F3 anti-fog technology, which is great. Now the size, to be more precise, is 3.75 inches high and 7.15 inches wide. So that's for your statistics. And I'm not really sure how much it weighs, but it's quite light, so it's not going to bother you when it sits on your face. And actually that's an interesting point to make right away. For all the size and all the big front end of the goggles, you can see that it still has to fit your face, so the part that is actually touching your face is actually not that far from conventional goggles. When you compare it again to these Uvex goggles, you can see that it's not all that different on the inside. Now, like I said, the lenses of these goggles are interchangeable, so you can get different lenses and change them on the fly. And Oakley claims that it's a quick change system, but I have to say I'm not entirely convinced about it. Obviously it does work, you can get them on and off, but I'll show you how it's done. You pretty much pull the frame apart at the edges, and then you can sort of peel the lens out, like so, and then you pull the nose part off. There we go. And then your bright and shiny lenses are full of fingerprints, but then you have the frame left, which is super flexible. And there you go. Putting it back in is pretty much the reverse process. The easiest way is to put in the sides first. Make sure that is all in place. And then you sort of pop the nose part back and pop the top part back as well. And then you have even more fingerprints, and will require quite a bit of cleaning, but there you go. So you can change the lenses and all will be well. Now something else that Oakley features in this lens in particular, but in a whole range of their lenses, is their Prism technology. You might be able to see the logo here on the side. Now that is Oakley's technology, I suppose, behind their enhanced vision for snowboard goggles. And if their website is to be believed, it is quite the difference between regular ski goggles or regular eyesight, I suppose, and these Prism goggles, because they filter out certain light waves and make sure that you can actually see slopes and lines and paths and obstacles, obviously, much clearer, and especially when the light is a bit more flat, so when the sun is not all too bright, some behind the clouds maybe, these lenses really shine. And it's true, they really deliver. I found that they give a very clear vision of what's happening around you. Obviously, no goggles are perfect in displaying what you see around you, and it all depends on how good the lenses are. But you really get your money worth in terms of the technology in the lens and what you can see out of the lens. So in that respect, it is worth the investment of making sure that you can see in all conditions with these lenses, and with the Prism technology. They really deliver. So not, a lot of marketing blah blah is obviously involved, but in the end they perform, and that is what you want from them. Which brings me to obviously the conclusion. What do we make of these lenses? Well, obviously the style has to be your thing. This is certainly not for everybody. But if it is, and with the choices of lens colors and strap colors and frame colors, I think there's something there for everyone. The price, 209 euros, like I said, here in Germany. Yes, that's a lot of money, especially when you only go skiing, snowboarding for once or twice a year. That is certainly a lot of money, but you'll probably last 5 years with these at least. So if you see it in that respect, it's not too bad. And for that money, I think you get a quite stylish and distinct piece of kit. With that Prism technology, I think it is worth the money. I've said it before in videos about sunglasses as well. I really care about my vision, and especially when I'm on the slopes, you don't want to suddenly hit an obstacle or hit a bump or whatever, fall over and break something. So I think that's worth the money spending on these goggles, and get a proper piece of kit. Good technology behind it, and actually a very good vision out of them. Now I do realize that 209 euros is not for everybody, but hey, these are, so that's what you get for your money. Not too convinced about the changing system. Like I said, it's a bit of a hassle, and especially the nose piece is a bitch to get back in. And I certainly don't really see anybody carrying 2 or 3 lenses around all day on the mountain to change when there's a cloud, to change back when it's sunny again. I don't really see that happening. You might have an extra pair of lenses back in the cabin to change at the beginning of the day, but that's all I see happening really about it. Not to mention that the lenses by themselves are not exactly cheap either. That's again why I chose for the sort of mixed conditions lens. I think this one looks particularly good, but I think they perform on both ends of the spectrum. When it's very sunny, and still when it's cloudy you can still see your lines. Thanks to the Prism technology, but also thanks to the color of the lens itself. This is Peter from Reviews on Anything, with a look at the Oakley Flightdeck snowboard goggles in the torch iridium color. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers!